All right, welcome to Bellator, your first fight week here. How excited are you to be here?
I'm pumped. The last fight that I was supposed to have originally, it got canceled, so I've essentially been in a 6-month fight camp, just waiting for word, and it's finally here.
Yeah, is that tough to train for that long and not overtrain, so to speak?
Yeah, to some degree. I think I took about 2 weeks off before I got wind that they're going to possibly start rebooking, and I jumped right into another fight camp. It's difficult just in the sense that you're like, oh, I'm in that limbo. What if they don't actually book? And I just did all that training for nothing. But it's here now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And with that being said, though, were you a little bit disappointed you didn't get to keep your main event? I think looking at the main events that got canceled, yours was the only one that didn't get to go through. So I'm sure you just want to fight, but was that a little bit disappointing to not have that?
No, really, just having a fight was all that's important to me. Whether I'm the main event or I'm all the way at the bottom of the undercard or prelims, I don't care as long as I get to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And DeAnna Bennett, your opponent, were you familiar with her when they offered her to you, or is this kind of a new name for you?
This is a new name for me, but just in the sense that I don't really follow MMA or sports at all. So anytime I have an opponent, I have to do research on and figure out who they are.
Yeah, I got you. But now that you've kind of learned a little bit about her, your coaches have prepared you for her. What are you expecting to see out of her? What when you get in the cage, what kind of matchup are you expecting here?
Well, she's well versed in everything. It's similar to me, where it's not like you have a specific background other than she has a wrestling background. It's not unique where like have Muay Thai fighters that got into MMA. No, she's a well-versed MMA fighter, and she's a veteran just like me with just as many fights. So I know it's going to be a brawl. It's going to be a good show to put on both of our debuts.
Yeah, a good first impression fight,
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, so now that you're here, speaking of first impressions, I know that you there was a lot made about your UFC departure and you signing with Bellator, but now that you've experienced firsthand the Bellator fight week, are you overall happy on the switch that was made?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, COVID kind of puts a whole twist on things, and so I know that this fight week it isn't exactly what it would normally be. But I mean, when I was with Strikeforce, a lot of the people that left Strikeforce and didn't go with the UFC came here to Bellator. So I'm really familiar with all the faces like, hey, reunite, this is great. So that I think has made a really easy transition. Plus, always cornering Ilima, I kind of had a little bit of background into Bellator before I actually got here.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's funny. I didn't even think of that. And, I guess... How close do you feel like you just mentioned Ilima? Talk to me about that whole situation a little bit, because being your last fight was a UFC title fight, and now you're here. If you go out and win this weekend, you could potentially kind of slot yourself as the number one contender. So can you talk about that little situation here and the fact that your friend, is the one with the belt?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been with Ilima since day one. I'm the one that actually signed her up at the gym, did her intro, invited her in, helped show her all the basics and everything. I'm there for every fight camp. I've cornered her for almost all of her fights. So I'm not unfamiliar with what she's capable of doing, strengths and weaknesses. And we've always talked about as we started to both go up and our careers arose, like, hey, there's a potential that we're going to compete. I mean, we've done jiu-jitsu tournaments where our coach was like, hey, if you guys face each other, just both tap out or say that you're not going to go against. And then we were like, no, we're going to do this, right? It's going to be the best bout is going to be ours no matter what it is. So that's always been on the table. It's always been a discussion, and we've always been ready to throw down with everything that we have. I had initially anticipated that I wanted to prove that this is a fresh start. This is a clean slate for me. I'll work up the ranks just like everybody else, because there are people that have been waiting their chance for years, and I'm not about to take that from anybody. But with the current state with COVID and people not being able to get in the country, there's a lot of people that, yeah, they definitely have the contender spot, but they can't get into the country to possibly fight for it. So I don't want to sideswipe them and run ahead and get to the front of it. There's only so many options for her, and if that happens to me, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, karma. You're going to be a respectful person, and now it comes back around to you. But do you feel like that is the scenario, that if you go out here, you put on an impressive showing, that you will be kind of the unofficial number one slot, given the world situation?
I do think so, because for both of us, both of our original opponents were from outside of the country, and neither of us were able to book our original fights because of the restrictions. So we're limited on the pool that we can actually dip into for possible fights, and that's very limited. A lot of the people that are on the Bellator card for 125 are from outside of the U.S. So it's really limited on who hasn't just fought, who's healthy, and who's ready. So we're talking, that believes 6 people. And some people want to say no, and I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, and in order to slot yourself there, you got to obviously go out and get a win. So when you play it on your head, what do you see going down when you two fight this weekend?
I see my hand in the air. I see a good finish. I don't care if it's standing. I don't care if it's on the ground. Whatever it is, I'm going out there to show that I can finish it at any point, anywhere.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in that, and I appreciate the time, Liz.
Thank you.